Hello everybody, this is Joel over at importsauce.com, and today we are talking about an exciting product because it is a new product. It is the Elevate Performance Ignition Coils. So what we're going to do is go ahead and talk about the applications that these go on. We'll do a little overview from the description that they provide, and then we'll do a quick install overview on these as well. So stick around. Starting off over on the elevatecars.com website, we can look at this performance coil. First thing I want to point out is the part number. This is a quick reference where we can see the different applications. Here on the website, it does mention specifically that we are used, or this particular one is 5 and 6 cylinder engines, 99 to 2016. If you are unsure about the two part numbers, the easiest way to do is pop that into the Volvo Cars US Parts web store. And they have a tab, what it fits. And here you can go through and see exactly what this particular part number fits. And we see C30s, C70s, S40s, V50s are on the list, so pretty much the whole P1 lineup. We have the S60s, S80s, V60s, V70s, XC60s, XC90s. But keep in mind it is going to be based on the particular engine that you have, so you will want to definitely cross-reference before you do the purchase and make sure. While we're here, I also want to point out the price point. New from Volvo, $93. You're going to pay some shipping. You're probably going to pay some tax on there. And people say, well, you know, I'll typically just get an aftermarket brand. If you even went over and did the same thing, this is just going to be a Bosch replacement, so not a Volvo genuine or original as they would classify it. $48. But when you look at the Elevate Performance Ignition Coil, we're seeing $58. So we're only talking, we're talking a value underneath the factory, and only a few bucks more than a non-genuine Volvo per coil, but you are getting the performance one. So another thing on here that stuck out is just some of the characteristics that were pointed out here in the description. While other performance ignition coils were tested by Elevate, they saw in many cases that they weren't better than the factory. Some do deliver more spark, but needless extra spark is going to increase the combustion chamber. So they balanced out this design to make sure that it had just the amount of spark that it needs to really get the most performance out of it. So on that, let's take a look at some of their comparisons here that they point out in terms of the primary currents, and all of these are compared to the new Volvo coil, which we would see here. We're just looking at the amps there. The secondary load, we see an increase as well. The discharge time, the actual time that it is sparking in there, we see an increase as well, which is pointed out in their description. It's going to make sure that trying to maximize that spark and really spend all the fuel that is released in there as well. And then also the energy, the millijoules there. So we can see that all of those are increased over what you would get from the new Volvo coil there. And one thing to point out is that definitely with the recommendation of factory spark plugs only. So I know people are out there, and typically it's pretty unanimous on the forums that people are saying, you know, stick with the Volvo factory on there. And same thing here. So if you are considering this is a great time to go ahead and just get a new set of factory plugs with that as well. Here we're going to look at products side by side. So initially, top looks identical. Stand those up. Looks like it is identical there. Front view, same thing. Other side, pretty much spot on all the way around. The only difference that we see is going to be the Elevate branding and beautiful red. If you're spending money on a performance part, you do like people to you know, if it came out looking like this, then you want people to see it. You want them to notice it and say, ooh, what's that? So, you know, unlike a air intake where you're going to see the massive size of the pipe or the filter or anything, these pretty much look about the same. Weight on them, pretty much the same all the way around. So, that's the side-by-side. Okay, so it is recommended that you change your plugs out every 30,000 miles. Since we are already going in here to do this, and Elevate recommends that you use factory plugs, we went ahead and ordered a set of those up. We had these arrive a week ago, and we don't have a Volvo dealer local, so I ordered these up. We got them yesterday, and so we've been excited to get these in. But a side note, if you are doing the plugs at the same time, again, factory Volvo is recommended. Part number, let's see if I can get you there. I'll put it over, but it's 307-51806. And the factory gap on these is, for at least for the S40, the P1 application, is listed at 0.028. So, as a pro tip, you do not want to assume that these are, you know, even though they are Volvo specific, you don't want to assume that they came out of the factory, out of production, ready to go. So we'll get our gapper, and we just like to do a check on that, just to make sure that we are exactly where we need to be, and spot on. So we're going to check each 5 just to make sure that everything meets spec before it goes in. And at that point, we know that we're going to have a brand new setup with both the coil packs and the plugs. Okay, moving on to installation. This is going to be super easy. Each coil pack has simply an 8mm bolt that will go through and retain it down onto the top of the engine. So we have an 8mm, an extension, and simply what you do is for each one, go ahead and remove that bolt, put that aside, and then just kind of wiggle and pull up. There we go. And then for the electrical connection, you can depress the tab there, but you can also just take a flathead and kind of pry that up to give you some help, get it over the lip, and that slides out. Easily enough. The new one, you're going to plug it back in, pop it down, and then just replace that 8mm bolt.